Okay.
Okay, so we call the regular city council meeting to order at 9:08. And given that this meeting immediately followed the Board of Library Trustees meeting, there is no need to conduct a flag salute. So we will go on to the roll call. City Clerk?
Mayor Lopez,
Present.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Present.
Councilmember Davis,
Present.
Councilmember Menke,
Here.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Present.
Motion, oh, you have a quorum.
Thank you. City Clerk, do we have any changes to the agenda?
There are none.
Thank you. May I have a motion to approve the agenda?
I'll move.
Second.
I'll second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra, seconded by Councilmember Davis to approve the agenda. Mayor Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Yes.
Councilmember Davis,
Yes.
Councilmember Menke,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now we will take public comment from members of the audience. At this time, the public is encouraged to address the City Council on any matter that is within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. The public will also be given a chance to comment on matters which are on the posted agenda during council deliberation on those specific matters. Please state your name and business affiliation, if any, and please limit your comments to 3 minutes.
Good morning, Council. My name is Marisa with the Vernon Chamber of Commerce. And is that on?
Matt, is that on?
Okay, can you hear me? I was just wanted to make a couple comments. I was really excited to see what's on the agenda today is the council is going to recognize an outstanding business leader, Bob Gutterman of Crown Poly, who's going to be retiring. And I just want to thank the council for recognizing people, business leaders, who truly care about the success of the city of Vernon. Because of COVID, a lot of our events have been canceled or postponed. So I'm excited that you're doing this, and we intend to thank him next year when things are getting a little bit better. But just to state a personal thing on this is that Bob was Chief Financial Officer of the Crown Poly, and he kind of came to Vernon at a critical point in Vernon's history, and he volunteered to serve on the Electric Rates Committee. And a lot of the hard work that he did, he was willing to roll up his sleeves. And at a time when Vernon critically needed, the business community, the city of Vernon really needed that public-private partnership in action. And so through his work, he really played a role in helping the city to move toward fiscal integrity, transparency, and sound fiscal planning, many of which why we have the reforms and the fiscal practices that we have here today is really a result of Bob Gutterman, along with the other companies, Farmer John, U.S. Cold Storage, which is now Lineage Logistics, Coast Packing. Those companies really stepped up at a time and really were part of the reform effort. And that has made a lasting impression of why we are here and such a great position that we are in today. The work is not finished. We still have a lot of debt that we are going to be paying, and but that work is we're inching along, and there's a great financial plan as a result. So I just wanted to publicly thank the council for recognizing Bob Gutterman, who's been part of this effort, and we wish him well in his retirement. Thank you.
Do we have any more public comments? Seeing that there are none, we will now go on to the presentations.
Item number 1. Sorry. Item number 1 is recognition of Robert Gutterman, Vice President of Finance for Crown Poly, Inc. This is a proclamation of the Mayor and City Council of the City of Vernon commending Robert Gutterman, retired Vice President of Finance for Crown Poly, Inc., in recognition of his leadership of the business community in the City of Vernon. Whereas Robert Gutterman retired from his position as Vice President of Finance for Crown Poly, Inc. on September 17, 2020, after 19 years of dedicated service. And whereas Robert Gutterman served as an advocate during the city's battle against disincorporation, has been a supporter and proponent of the city's partnership with Vernon businesses, and has been a vocal collaborator and leader among city stakeholders. And whereas through the years, Robert Gutterman has remained an active member of the Vernon Chamber of Commerce and served on the city's Electric Rates Committee. And whereas it is an honor to express our appreciation to Robert Gutterman for his exemplary leadership of the business community in the city of Vernon, and wish Robert good health upon his retirement and for continued success in life's pursuits. And whereas the mayor and the city council of the city of Vernon, on behalf of its employees, residents, and businesses, wish to commend and thank Robert Gutterman for his many years of service to the city and invite recognition of his contributions and achievements. Now, therefore, the mayor and the city council of the city of Vernon, on behalf of its employees, residents, and businesses, hereby commend Robert Gutterman for his many contributions to the city and its business community. This proclamation is being presented to Robert Gutterman by the Honorable Mayor Leticia Lopez for and on behalf of the City Council of the City of Vernon this 6th day of October, 2020.
Thank you.
We will now go on to item number 2.
Item number 2 is recognition of retiring employee Andrew C. Smith, firefighter, paramedic. And Human Resources Director Earl will present the item. Is he online?
Good morning, Mayor and members of the City Council. I believe Mr. Smith is he not? He's not on? Okay. I'm sorry?
Andy is on, but he's not on.
Andy is first.
Oh, I'm sorry. So let me go ahead and show his video. Request of 1 moment. Andy, are you able to hear me okay?
I can.
Great.
Oh, there he is. This is a proclamation of the mayor and the city council of the city of Vernon commending Andrew C. Smith for his many years of service to the city of Vernon. Whereas Andrew C. Smith has been employed by the city of Vernon since March 22nd, 1999, and has faithfully served the city of Vernon for over 21 years. And whereas Andrew Smith will retire from the city of Vernon effective October 15th, 2020 as a firefighter paramedic. And whereas during the course of his employment with the city of Vernon, Andrew Smith held the positions of firefighter and firefighter paramedic. And whereas Andrew Smith completed firefighter 1 and 2 and urban search and rescue certification, became a hazardous materials specialist, and was part of Regional Task Force 2. And whereas in 2013, Andrew Smith was presented with the Vernon Fire Department Firefighter of the Year Award. And whereas Andrew Smith served within critical areas that required diligent leadership skills in initiating and training the entire fire department in the process of using auto injectors in the event of a weapon of mass destruction event. And whereas Andrew Smith was a member of the 2005 Centennial Badge Committee and served as EMS supply officer since the second inception of the fire department's paramedic program in 2009. And whereas during his long and distinguished career with the city of Vernon, Andrew Smith has won the deepest respect of his colleagues through his leadership and his many contributions to the city. And whereas it is an honor to express our appreciation to Andrew Smith for his exemplary service to the city of Vernon, and wish Andrew good health upon his retirement and for continued success in life pursuits. And whereas the mayor and the city council of the city of Vernon, on behalf of its employees, residents, and businesses, wish to commend and thank Andrew Smith for his many years of service to the city and invite recognition of his contributions and achievements. Now, therefore, the mayor and the city council of the city of Vernon, on behalf of its employees, residents, and businesses, hereby commend Andrew C. Smith for his many years of service to the city. This proclamation is being presented to Andrew C. Smith by the Honorable Mayor Leticia Lopez for and on behalf of the City Council of the City of Vernon this 6th day of October, 2020. Andrew, did you want to say anything?
Yeah. Thank you very much. I appreciate the the proclamation. I'm a little uncomfortable with the attention, but it is much appreciated. Yeah, so thank you very much.
Thank you. We'll make sure that Andrew gets the frame proclamation.
Thank you. We will now go on to item number 3.
Item 3 is recognition of retiring employee Dean A. Richens, Fire Captain.
And is Dean on? Okay. I saw a picture of him up there earlier at the beach. So.
Mhm.
Hi, Dean. I'm going to go ahead and ask you to show your video.
There he is.
What? We're just out here at the beach, lobster fishing.
Yeah.
Now, although I'm on the books through October 16th, I've kind of started my retirement early, so.
Yeah.
All right. This is a proclamation of the mayor and the city council of the city of Vernon commending Dean A. Richens for his many years of service to the city of Vernon. Whereas Dean A. Richens has been employed by the city of Vernon since September 18th, 1999, and has
89.
89 and has faithfully served the city of Vernon for over 31 years. And whereas Dean Richens will retire from the city of Vernon effective October 16, 2020 as a fire captain. And whereas during the course of his employment with the city of Vernon, Dean Richens held the positions of firefighter cadet effective September 18, 1989, firefighter effective July 1, 1990, engineer effective October 18, 1992, acting captain assignment effective October 20th, 2002, another acting captain assignment effective December 25th, 2005, administrative captain effective January 7th, 2007, and shift captain effective January 4th, 2009. And whereas Dean Richens completed hazardous material and urban search and rescue training to become a state certified hazardous material specialist and was part of the Urban Search and Rescue Task Force 2. And whereas during his career, Dean Richens served within critical areas that required diligent leadership skills as an engineer academy lead instructor, national incident management instructor, rapid intervention crew instructor, public access automated external defibrillator assistant, weapons of mass destruction consequence management instructor, self-contained breathing apparatus program manager, urban areas security initiative grant facilitator, president of the Vernon Firemen's Association, IAFF Local 2312 for 10 years, and led volunteer efforts for the Muscular Dystrophy Association, Children's Hospital of Trenton Blood Drives, Breast Cancer Awareness, St. Baldrick's, and the Alyssa Ann J. Byrne Foundation. And whereas during his long and distinguished career with the city of Vernon, Dean Richens has won the deepest respect of his colleagues through his leadership and his many contributions to the city. And whereas it is an honor to express our appreciation to Dean Richens for his exemplary service to the city of Vernon and wish Dean good health upon his retirement and for continued success in life's pursuits. And whereas the mayor and the city council of the city of Vernon, on behalf of its employees, residents, and businesses, wish to commend and thank Dean Richens for his many years of service to the city and invite recognition of his contributions and achievements. Now, therefore, the mayor and the city council of the city of Vernon, on behalf of its employees, residents, and businesses, hereby commend Dean A. Richens for his many years of service to the city. This proclamation is being presented to Dean A. Richens by the Honorable Mayor Leticia Lopez for and on behalf of the city council of the city of Vernon, this 6th day of October, 2020. Dean, did you have anything else to add?
Yeah, I'd just like to say I've had an amazing career at the city of Vernon, and I appreciate everybody. I can't do it alone, and I did it with everybody's help. Hi, Carlos. Stay strong, and try not to get fired. Michael, I apologize for yelling at you probably on a bi-weekly basis, but I did it on behalf of the union. Appreciate everything, and God bless everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
We will now go on to public hearings. Item number 4.
Item 4 is resolution of necessity, acquisition of property for right-of-way 5122 South Atlantic Boulevard. And Public Works Director Wall will present the report.
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, this item concerns 5122 South Atlantic Boulevard, and it's for the acquisition of property for right-of-way for the Atlantic Boulevard Bridge Improvement project. So 5122 South Atlantic is the triangular piece of property that is bounded by Atlantic Boulevard District and the Los Angeles River. And it's being bounded by the river. It's immediately adjacent to the Atlantic Bridge. This property has been for sale for a number of years, and it's the property that has the oil tanks on it. Make sure you're familiar with it. In this presentation, we're going to go over the background of this item. We're going to discuss the easement and the eminent domain process, and then we're going to tie it together with the closing. So project background, the history is the Atlantic Boulevard Bridge Program, which the city's been working on for about 5 years. Seeks to improve a bridge that was constructed in 1931 at a time when there was a lot less traffic through the city of Vernon. Traffic volume on this over this bridge is in excess of 50,000 vehicles a day. Many of those vehicles are trucks, and this bridge provides a vital link between the city of Vernon and the ports via the 710 freeway. Some of the challenges is mentioned earlier. This bridge is very narrow and it provides a pinch point for traffic. So it bottlenecks everything and leads to traffic jams, not just on Atlantic, but also on District Boulevard. Some of the planned improvements include the widening of the lanes, which is why we need this additional right-of-way. In fact, an additional lane will go in, and also improvements to the rail crossings and to the signalized intersection in order to help with traffic going through. So about the easement and the eminent domain. As you saw on the last slide, we need 9 feet permanent acquisition for the right-of-way, as well as a temporary construction easement. We've been in contact with the property owner about this project since 2015. We've had a third-party appraisal conducted to determine what the value of both the temporary and permanent easements would be. And this council authorized a written offer back in June of 2019. That offer was given to the property owner and also to their agent. Since this property is on the market, we provided a copy to their broker as well. There's been a great deal of outreach to the property owner, and we haven't gotten anywhere. On September 17th, a notice of intent for the condemnation of the property was sent to the property owner, and that's what this proceeding is today. So the resolution before you is a resolution of necessity, which allows the city to go into court to get the court to deliver the property to the city at what the court determines to be a fair market value. 3 things must be found in order for this resolution to be effective. One is that there is a public interest and necessity for the Atlantic Bridge project. And since this is a bottleneck for transportation of goods and has been deemed by the federal government through its funding that it is an important project, I think that it's safe to say that this is a necessary project and that it is in the public interest. That another finding you must make is that the project is planned or located in a manner that is most compatible with the greatest public good and the least private injury. And we don't have much choice. The bridge is where the bridge is. It is being widened on both sides. It just so happens that the other side of the bridge, the other side of the street, has extra right-of-way, and that's because there's newer development there. There will be an item in closed session actually for the acquisition of property that's across the river from this property on the same side of Atlantic. And that'll be a closed session item. So, and also that the property sought is to be acquired, the property sought to be acquired is necessary for the project. So those the 9 feet of right-of-way that we're seeking will be used for street right-of-way, and the temporary construction easement is necessary for the construction of roadway in that right-of-way. So in closing, given the aforementioned, staff recommends the adoption of resolution number 2020-31, finding and determining that the public interest and necessity require the acquisition by eminent domain of interest in 5122 South Atlantic Boulevard for public use, and authorizing and directing condemnation of portions of assessor's parcel number 6314-003-001 for the Atlantic Boulevard Bridge of the Los Angeles River Project. This concludes my report.
Do any members of the City Council have questions of staff at this time? I will now open the public hearing. If any member of the public would like to speak on this matter, please limit your comments to 3 minutes. Please state your name and business affiliation, if any. Seeing that there are none, I now close the public comment portion of the public hearing. Does the City Council have any questions of staff at this time? Seeing as all questions have been addressed, I hereby close the public hearing and open council deliberations. Once deliberations are complete, I will entertain a motion. Is there a motion for this item?
I'll move.
Second.
Motion by Councilmember Menke, seconded by Councilmember Gonzalez, to find the action exempt under CEQA and adopt resolution number 2020-31. Mayor Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Yes.
Councilmember Davis,
Yes.
Councilmember Menke,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We will now go on to the consent calendar. All matters listed on the consent calendar are to be approved with one motion. Items may be removed from the consent calendar by any member of the council. Those items removed will be considered immediately after the consent calendar. Does council wish to pull any items from the consent calendar? Are there any public comments for the consent calendar? Seeing that there are none, may I have a motion for consent calendar item numbers 5 through 11?
I'll move.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra, seconded by Councilmember Davis, to approve the consent calendar. Mayor Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Yes.
Councilmember Davis,
Yes.
Councilmember Menke,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We will now go on to new business, item number 12.
Item number 12 is services agreement with Arroyo Group for preparation of mixed-use specific plan and program environmental impact report preparation for West Side's project. And Public Works Director Wall will present the item.
Honorable Mayor and members of the City Council, the item before you is to approve an agreement for the preparation of the West Side Specific Plan and Program Environmental Impact Report. In this slide, you'll see outlined in red is staff's rough estimate of what the specific plan area will entail on the west side. This is something that will be refined during the course of the specific plan project. So the vision for this project, a zoning transition of the west side of the city of Vernon from industrial age manufacturing and warehousing to leading edge state-of-the-art modern mixed use. An overview of this presentation will include background, a discussion of the proposals received, we'll talk about the finalist, discuss the contract, and then move on with a closing. This plan is the starting point of a 30-year process. While the actual planning effort is going to take between 20 months and 2 years, the actual implementation of this plan will be an evolution for the city of Vernon, and it will take anywhere from 20 to 30 years to fully implement the plan. Again, this isn't a revolutionary plan. We're not trying to run any of our businesses out. This will allow for there to be a natural evolution to a modern Vernon on the west side. So for a background, how did we get here? On April 8th, City Administrator Carlos Fandino facilitated a meeting with staff to explore a vision of what Vernon could look like. Within a few days of that meeting, based on discussions in that meeting, a draft scope of services for this RFP was prepared. On April 21st, City Administrator Carlos Fandino presented the concept to the City Council. And on May 19th, the council approved the RFP. That same day, that RFP was advertised and was sent out to the planning community. From May 19th to July 1st, planning community worked on their proposals based on the RFP, and July 1st was the deadline, and we received 11 proposals by that deadline. Staff reviewed these proposals from July 1st to August 20th. These proposals ran anywhere from 80 to 150 pages in length, a lot of technical details in them, so it took a good while to get through them. And then from August 20th to September 14th, the agreement was developed that's being presented to the council today. So the proposals. 11 responses to the RFP were received, and the respondents were asked to address 5 specific tasks. So those tasks are below, and I'll talk about them in a moment. And the table off to the right represents the proposals as they are ranked from the highest to lowest total cost. So the 5 specific tasks. Task 1 and 2 are going to run concurrent with one another, and they include coordination with City of Vernon staff and the consultant, and that will run during the length of this process, as well as community and stakeholder outreach, which will also run during the duration of the process. Tasks 3, 4, and 5 are going to be concurrent with each other, and they include baseline studies, which will look at the existing businesses, existing land ownership, and existing building stock within the area, and try to refine the boundaries as well as provide a basis for future zoning. We'll also include specific plan development and then preparation of the program EIR. Based on the quality of the proposals, MIG, Dudek, and Arroyo were advanced to the interview phase. And if you'll notice, there's quite a spread on the cost for the proposals. And while cost is a consideration, we really looked at value that was being provided and how well these proposers captured the vision that had been met, that had been established in those early meetings that were held with staff, and also how well they fit or seem to fit with the existing Vernon business community. So the three finalists, MIG, Dudek, and Arroyo, were made presentations to a city panel on Zoom on August 20th. And those presentations ranged anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half, including a time for interviews. And these were all very high quality candidates, and it really came down to what provided the best fit and the best value for the city of Vernon. And the consensus of the panel was that Arroyo was the best fit. So the agreement before you includes three different elements. The first element is to create this specific plan and the program EIR. I've also included a revision of the housing element and to align the general plan with both the housing element and the specific plan. And I asked Arroyo to do those second two portions because number one, in talking with them, we found out that they're able to do that. And then number two, since the specific plan will address housing, and since it will contemplate doing things that are outside of our general plan, we wanted to make sure that we have alignment. Also, the housing element needs to be updated for the California Department of Housing and Community Development by October of 2021. And so it just makes sense that we would add this to the scope of work by this consultant. So the term, as I'd mentioned earlier, this is going to be a 20-month process. Obviously, the housing element, since it's due earlier, will be done within 12 months, but the overall specific plan will take 20 months, maybe a little longer. So, but we're looking right at 2 years. The cost of this project is going to be $545,890. And so that breaks down for the specific plan and EIR are going to be $485,890, and then $50,000 for the housing element update and $10,000 to revise the general plan to make sure everything's in conformance. The housing element, the California Department of Housing and Community Development has allowed Vernon up to $65,000 in grant funding, and you'll see the grant that we'll apply for later in the next month or so to pay for housing elements. And so this came in under what Vernon's allocation is, so it's a good value. In closing, in its history, the city of Vernon has adapted and transformed. The 1920s and 30s saw movements toward electrification and industrialization. In the 1980s, warehousing started to replace our industrial sites. The location of Vernon provides a distinct advantage as we transform to mixed use. The Arroyo Group is a partner that will help the city realize this future. This concludes my presentation.
Does council have any technical questions for staff? Are there any public comments? Seeing that there are none, may I have a motion?
I'll move. I'll second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra, seconded by Councilmember Menke, to find the action exempt under CEQA and approve and authorize the city administrator to execute the agreement between the city of Vernon and the Arroyo Group for preparation of the mixed use specific plan and program EIR and preparation of the general plan and housing element updates. Mayor Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Yes.
Councilmember Davis,
Yes.
Councilmember Menke,
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
We will now go on to item number 13.
Item 13 is services agreement with AM Ortega Construction, Inc. for natural gas project design, construction, and repair services. And General Manager of Public Utilities, Alamu, will present the report.
Thank you. Good morning, Honorable Mayor and Council. On July 22nd, 2020, the VP Gas Division issued an RFP for natural gas project design, construction, and repair services, which was advertised in the city website, plan bid, and we sent out individual communication to known vendors. The solicitation was viewed by 17 prospective vendors and was broadcast to over 250 external vendors. The goal of the RFP was to commission a successful proposer on as-needed basis to perform specialized work, the project design services, construction, and the repair support services on the 6-inch polyethylene gas distribution system, 10-inch high-pressure steel gas transmission system, 2 regulator stations, and any other part of the city's natural gas infrastructure that may require attention. The RFP deadline was August 8, 2020, at which time only one proposal was received from AM Ortega Construction Inc. AM Ortega is the current service provider. The proposal was evaluated and deemed to be successful. Although only one proposal was received, the staff is confident in AM Ortega and their ability to perform at a high level of expertise and professionalism. They have successfully and satisfactorily completed many projects for VPU ranging in size and scope. They are VPU's current service provider and have been since 2016. Oftentimes, many contractors do not bid on smaller jobs like the VPU's RFP, which are as needed work, because they have larger contracts with organizations like Southern California Gas Company and do not want to jeopardize their availability on those large contracts. The services identified in the proposed service agreement will be performed on as needed basis. Several unpredictable factors can contribute to the need for their services, like connecting new customers to our system, engineering and pipeline safety assessment to comply with new and pending regulations, and potential repairs due to system leaks and mechanical failures. The staff has forecast $330,000 per year budget based on the average of historical expenditures during the service contract. Since the past expenditures included non-recurring projects, the staff believes the average annual amounts spent on new projects will be similar to the project and sufficient amount for future annual costs. Therefore, the staff recommends that the City Council approve and authorize the City Administrator to execute the proposed service agreement with AM Ortega Construction Inc. for natural gas pipe gas project design, construction, and repair services for a 3-year term with a not to exceed amount of $990,000. The VPU Gas Division has allocated $330,000 per year for these services in the approved 2020-2021 VPU budget and will budget accordingly in the subsequent years. This concludes my presentation. I'm open for any questions you may have.
Does council have any technical questions for staff?
I do. Do we currently have a contract with somebody at this time?
AM Ortega is the service provider.
And has it been under 300,000 a year?
Yes, that's 330 is the average over the life. So since some of the projects they did is a one-time project, they don't do similar projects every year. So looking at the history, we looked at it and said, with the future, we're planning to expand our service offerings to new gas customers. So there will be all of that services. And as you have approved in the past, there's a lot of regulatory requirement coming to the gas division. So with all of that, we believe 330,000, which is the historical average, is sufficient.
Okay.
So is it safe to say that this was an average?
Average of the last 3 years.
Okay. Okay, are there any public comments? May I have a motion?
I'll move.
Second.
Motion by Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra, seconded by Councilmember Davis, to find approval exempt under CEQA and approve and authorize the city administrator to execute a services agreement with AM Ortega Construction for natural gas project design, construction, and repair services. Mayor Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Yes.
Councilmember Davis,
Yes.
Councilmember Menke.
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. We will now go on to item number 14.
Item 14 is amendments to the classification and compensation plan. And Human Resources Director Earl will present the report.
Good morning again, Mayor and members of the City Council. As mentioned in previous reports to City Council, several departments have recently evaluated their staffing structures and made changes to improve efficiencies, implement technology, and implement succession planning. As part of the reorganization and restructuring in the Finance Department, City Council approval is requested, revising the job descriptions for buyer, assistant buyer, and risk management assistant. These revisions expand on the duties that are assigned across the various functions of the department, which allows for greater staffing flexibility while also providing opportunities for staff to learn other departmental functions. Also proposed is the establishment of the job descriptions and associated salary ranges for the positions of finance specialist and finance specialist senior. These new classifications will replace existing classifications of account clerk and business license clerk within the finance department and establish broader cross-functional positions within the department. As previously noted, these changes do not result in any additional staff positions being added to the department's budget. That concludes my report, and I'm available for any questions you may have.
Does council have any technical questions for staff?
I do. Sorry. As we're adding these positions, we're eliminating positions, right? That's what we're doing along the line?
That's correct.
Okay, then we're just broadening it and making it more efficient?
Correct. And in most cases, we're reallocating positions. So we've decided that we need a certain position instead of another position. So like we mentioned, it doesn't add any additional staff to the overall number of positions in the city, and except for a couple of occasions previously approved as part of the budget.
Mm-hmm.
But in general, we've kept the number of positions the same. This particular item before you keeps the same number of positions in the finance department at 12 positions.
Are there any additional questions for staff? Are there any public comments? May I have a motion?
I'll second.
Motion by Councilmember Menke, seconded by Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra, to approve the revised job descriptions and adopt Resolution 2020-32, amending the classification and compensation plan. Mayor Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Yes.
Councilmember Davis,
Yes.
Councilmember Menke.
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
Now we will go on to item number 15.
Item 15 is Conflict of Interest Code Statement of Economic Interests, and I will present the report for you today. The Political Reform Act requires that the Conflict of Interest Code be reviewed and updated every other year in even years. So the code is what requires people to file the Form 700, Statement of Economic Interests. The prior resolution, resolution number 2018-40, listed the various boards, commissions, elected officials, and staff members that were required to file the statement. In the past, it had various filing obligations for different levels of positions. And what this current resolution proposes is that everyone file all categories. I think in an effort to be transparent, that's the best way to do it. It's also less complicated for us to keep track of the different filing obligations. As you know, Government Code Section 87200 automatically requires the city attorney, city council, city manager, and city treasurer to file a statement. The proposed resolution outlines the positions required to file, including the recently modified positions and including the one you just did. That's in there as well. So it will incorporate all new positions that have been recently modified and added. We also have the electronic filing system, so all statements will be required to be filed electronically. If there are no, I'm happy to answer any questions, but if there are none, the adoption of the resolution is before the council for consideration.
Does council have any technical questions for staff? Are there any public comments? Seeing that there are none, may I have a motion?
I move.
I'll second.
Motion by Councilmember Davis, seconded by Councilmember Menke, to adopt resolution number 2020-33, establishing a conflict of interest code. Mayor Lopez,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Ibarra,
Yes.
Councilmember Davis.
Yes.
Councilmember Menke.
Yes.
Councilmember Gonzalez.
Yes.
Motion carries.
Now we will go on to oral reports. City Administrator Fandino, do you have any reports for us?
Yes, thank you, Honorable Mayor and City Council. On September 17th, officers responded to a call on the 5000 block of Fruitland regarding a male with a dagger and a replica handgun. The suspect was detained and arrested for misdemeanor weapons charges and later taken for a 72-hour mental hold. On September 20th, officers responded to the 4900 block of Corona for violating a restraining order and resisting arrest. The suspect broke free in Vernon Police Department's grip while being handcuffed. The altercation resulted in a fractured hand for the suspect and was later medically treated. On September 27th, officers arrested a subject, resisting arrest and spray painting graffiti along the 2300 block of Vernon Avenue, which included the walls of nearby residents and Vernon Elementary School. On September 28th, while monitoring a public demonstration at Farmer John, Vernon Police Department officers arrested 6 suspects for trespassing. The 6 animal activists had jumped the fence and scattered themselves while live streaming from different parties on the facility. Also, on September 28th, they responded to Farmer John and arrested 7 suspects for trespassing. In further investigation, it was discovered that protesters tied to a steel live hog. Vernon detectives are conducting a follow-up investigation evaluating felony charges of conspiracy and attempted grand theft. On September 29th, officers were monitoring a group of over 100 demonstrators at Farmer John. A group of demonstrators from Direct Action Everywhere chained themselves together along the entrance where hogs were delivered. Area E mutual aid was requested and nearly 17 neighboring officers responded to assist. Vernon Fire assisted with safely removing demonstrators from locking devices, and Vernon Police Department arrested a total of 20 demonstrators from the block for blocking the public right-of-way public nuisance. From 3 a.m. to 10 a.m., Farmer John was able to get nearly 42 of their scheduled hog deliveries into the processing plant. On October 3rd, Vernon Police Department officers responded to the 2011 49th Street regarding a party hosted by the Grape Street Crip Gang. Vernon Police Department officers requested mutual aid from neighboring cities to disperse over 700 people. Vernon Police Department detectives will work with the city building and planning and health fire departments regarding permit violations such as zoning, business license, occupancy, and health and fire hazards. On October 4th, officers responded to 2011 49th Street again, and it appeared that a commercial warehouse was converted into an illegal exotic dance hall. The event was shut down by police department for not having appropriate permits and the health department code and fire safety violations. On October 4th, Vernon Police Department arrested a male in the 2500 block of 27th Street for graffiti and resisting arrest. The suspect fled on foot and fought with responding officers and was later apprehended. Fire department, as noted above, Vernon Fire assisted during the Farmer John protest and was on hand to assist Vernon Police Department response to a large gathering at 2011 49th Street. Fire Inspector Bill Wilson will follow up with the building owner. Public Works will resume its efforts in code enforcement, which took a backseat with COVID-19 when it was at its peak. A strategic plan is in place for staff to conduct outreach for those violations and communicate and collaborate on solutions with the ultimate goal being compliance. City Council will shortly, in the next couple of weeks, we'll receive information on the code enforcement plan with the city of Vernon. On Thursday, September 24th at 2:54 p.m., Vernon Public Utilities experienced a 10-second outage on feeder 53 7 kV circuit affecting 34 customers. The cause of the outage was metallic balloons. On September 25th at 8:33 p.m., Vernon Public Utilities experienced a 52-minute outage on the Laguna Bell Leonis Trigas 66 kV line affecting one customer. The outage was a result from a car hit pole on Slauson Avenue and Alamo Avenue in the city of Maywood in Southern California, Edison Territory. On Saturday, October 3rd at 3:45 p.m., Vernon Public Utilities experienced a 1 hour and 15-minute outage on the North 16 kV circuit affecting 125 customers. The outage was caused by metallic balloons located at 4833 Fruitland Avenue. The finance department is in the field audit stage of the year-end process. The preliminary financial results are consistent with those presented to City Council in August and with the city enterprise funds ending with a positive result for the fiscal year 2019-2020. First quarter sales tax results will be available in 2 weeks, and so far this year has produced sales tax revenues consistent with the conservative estimates in the fiscal year budget. This month, the city begins collecting revenues from sales tax measure that was approved by the voters earlier this year and will also begin recognizing the savings from the transition from LA County Fire. Cash balances throughout all funds with the city remain at healthy levels, with balances as of the September bank statements as follow. VPU cash and investments has a balance of $175 million, and city cash and investments has a balance of $14 million. Health Department, communities surrounding the former Exide led acid battery recycling facility in Vernon have engaged in long-standing efforts to secure cleanup on the site. Following Exide's most recent bankruptcy filing earlier this year, the company has proposed a settlement agreement that would allow it to abandon the site and its associated environmental impacts. If this site is abandoned, it will be with no functional owner capable of securing the site and continuing to clean it up. The U.S. Department of Justice has agreed not to oppose the Exide potentially abandoning and opining on this site through the bankruptcy process. The Department of Justice has announced a public comment period on this issue, which includes the opportunity to request a public meeting. The public comment period ends today. Please contact the Health Department for information on how you may submit your comments. And I know that the city attorney is also working closely with the Health Department on this issue. The Health Department continues to work with the Department of Public Works to coordinate the installation of trailers for the use of COVID-19 vaccine trial. The installation of the trailers has been delayed due to unforeseen logistical issues. HR is planning modified Halloween festivities for employees on Thursday, October 29th. If any council members would like to participate as judges for the planned socially distanced contest, please see admin for staff for details. City attorney has no updates. City clerk, any information on the special meeting for next Tuesday?
We will be scheduling a special meeting for Tuesday, October 13th at 9 a.m. to consider an amendment to the fire MOU.
City administration, the city's raffle for family game night participants will occur immediately after today's city council meeting. Council members are welcome to join staff for the random selection of a winner. Please note that MetroLink's Union Station project proposes to impact Vernon with its adjustments to BNSF Malberg Yard train station. Please take time to offer your feedback during the project's public comment period, which runs through October 19th. You may visit the city's website for more information. Planning has begun for the Halloween and staff organizing funds socially distanced COVID-19. Consensus on many events for the community. We will have more details and information for the upcoming weeks. And then lastly, Public Works is doing surveys with customers entering the facility and requesting permits. They did receive last week 3 5-star reviews from customers who interacted with Building and Planning Division, and raving reviews were received in Public Works. With that, I have nothing further.
Are there any reports from council? Okay, we will now go on to closed session for agenda item numbers 16 through 18. Thank you everyone for joining us today.